Me want to me. I have a friend. No, no, sort to me. But because I have been 10 years and I didn't say, was canon. Now, and then, my lesson is more about the show and tell. Some of us as parents, we've been to schools, career days, to talk to the students about the Juma, and I want to kind of use that means, to demonstrate to us. And then we'll be talking about diabetes, situation, if I'm right. Now, the idea, we share America, if you look at America as a whole now, 4 out of 10, no, almost as in different stages, different categories. But we put in a boom, we need a 10 now. Those of us sitting here, if we take 10 people out, 4 of us have diabetes. And you want to kind of have a look at it. We want to look at what happens, why that disease comes into the symptoms and signs, and the way to kind of manage it. Because diabetes, if it's not properly managed, it's in the brain. Yeah, until what's your body now? Organs, you look at the heart. Then you say heart on the end pump mojano. Now, couple in the way you have called link them. Oh, ubia with you, but everybody depends on each other. So I do weigh a hot pot. If I touch it now, what will happen? I'm gonna leave it, right? Didn't you? Because body through the nerves, send a signal to the brain, and you tell the brain, say, I do weigh where I shake into the GCO, and that's what happened. ADD, what makes us feel like eating? Yes, sorry, pet nego did now. Yeah, times of feelings are coming though. If we Nakobo are designing naming now to make up. And yet, you're near all India, Johnny. Now, yes, sister Yaria, not the door also if we Adriania AD. Because the Akobuno and AP. Where Nkrumah. Okro stew, me benkuni, me lunch. Auntie mama daddy man for Thanksgiving e ka no. Nti ene me fia no. Me wo croissant wa me wo fruit. Na the way I bought it na yem fa na say ma fa apple we, me we apple a me de ntesuo be fra. Oh, eno na eboa na move down. Nti e contract no mu. Oh, na akọ yefu no mu. Edu ho no so a I say, my friend Nika na, money get grande a Bruno, Nika, it's a Nika, and she said, BB. And apple no, I say no, yeah, the into efra, and then goes through into the time. It do your funimua. It still has to go through the grinding process. And see, now people also design such a way say, digestive juices and also enzymes, and also release it about your funimu to continue what the whole process, no. And if you hold no more, then it gets into the small, the large intestines. Now, large intestines, you name organs be like liver, you name pancreas. You know, I can designing obia or part or play to be at the nearby near a camp process, not near the movie. They do small intestines, no more. Now, nutrients now body near and to we know, and I said, Benkuwe, so maybe Benkuwe. Probably after, it depending, because the system is different. You have to say, now, it might take like 2 hours. nti begu way e be turn into glucose duane bi ho ma wodi a protein bi so a stradier fat ne nyina no it goes through the body and the body handles it nti in the process no at times no nema bebre isi nema bebre it say car bibia tumi say nti say sa nema no start sa dia then nema nutrients na body ne hia no ne nsa de enka. And that is the same thing that happens to diabetes. Okay, first slide. Yeah, diabetes, no. We're gonna look at the definition of it. Ma explained already, no. Body, no, is linked together. Heart, kidney, brain, yeah, all of them, they work together like one unit. In the Bible say Baku Saya is going to affect the other one. Yeah, I lost a brother in June, short story. October, kidney. Now, I don't start here, no, I started with the high blood pressure. And one thing a year, and I ever said the kidney. Kidney, no, you know, ne liver, also ever affect here. Yeah, after the liver, no, so. Then after the complications no that arose out of it, now after the whole bibia. Until you come na nkasa no. Enye akoma yare no enye kidney no enye we no. Eno no ye panel na ye dialysis no. It got infected. But because the body no immune system no enye no. Eno then and trigger identical coil. So things are always linked together. Kidney no and then I filter ye waste. So I know nema here no kidney no boa liver no so boa into those organs no so those organs no BB or what happened they can't function properly and then kind of way the same way the heart the brains too so that's the coordination no now you will BB a your friend of pancreas no o share body lankasa share your funa skakra bi kind of we end up having it ejuma oye no ono no na security hormone bi a your friend no insulin na insulin no se be hu ejuma so a na afede ejuma especially on the glucose so I say blood glucose I say glucose e wo mo janemu say blood glucose na diabetes no so ye wo mu assault o nti so be hu de ejuma na insulin na ye ka no de ejuma na ye nse insulin no ne ho mfaso a right se ne ho mfaso na BBC na ntimi anya ejuma ana say wo de no ntimi produce kra na that means that obenya problems that goes with it and no will bring us to into some other diabetes we are we mo near man and say which mean edit check your sugar we are there which mean edit bow you don't need to check every day what the bow be are 2 weeks about we no until we got mobile phone now what the share now be my reading at any point in time and no be so any so do be so na nye juma so a so ye won cases be so want to mean produce we insulin so ye be ma artificial insulin and your factory no be just kind of working that way next slide. Okay, and see, we'll come into the diabetes. And diabetes pretty much your type 1, your type 2, your gestational. Gestational no painful graph you on sugar and a cholesterol. And I don't know what you want graph so I can say pre-diabetes. I say that border. And that's just on the way no. In Democrats, almost and I will other one, but we'll come into this, we'll look into that one in details. Next slide. Okay, and see, you shall have Your conductor officer, just like where blood pressure monitor, and the boy inside. Oh, now yeah, they are checking your blood pressure. The same way, no so sugar, no so it may a check it. It I say you so we move, and I say the continuous one. Now you more short too, and the reason why I want to take this time to explain this to you, no say, I say you. Your back could be your friend A1C. Back could be your friend fasting blood glucose, and about glucose tolerance test. And based on what your doctor do in the office or asks to go and do in the lab now, you will the expectation. And the father say A1C no, and no measure of blood sugar for the last 2 or 3 months. And 10 years is here. Doctor no person check your sugar say you be use way no check it. Oh yeah we A1C or one collab. Enti no moja no red blood cells no because moja koko no glucose no come combine enti kind of with time no it will use lab no and they check it your glucose for the last 2 months. Enti and okwa e be tell say sugar was strong. By A1C, no, because my doctor no idea for the last 2-3 months, no, pretty much, you know. And here I combining in my idea. Okay. So and then cases too. You go to the doctor's office. Then they say, and I said they ask you to go to the lab. And then they tell you, say, okay, when you are coming, do not eat. Oh, they want you to fast. Oh, and the fast pretty much is about 8 to 16 hours. It depends. And the reason why you fast, you know, is just to make sure say the food that you've eaten already, no, your body has already converted it. So when you go out, it just kind of you get a baseline where to start from. And then we can also do that. Cases too, no, so they want to do a glucose tolerance. Now, I don't know, also liquid over fasted now then they give it to you, you drink it, and then 1 hour they take your blood, check it, then they see whether the glucose you took now is working or the insulin is working on it. They wait 2 hours, second hour they do another blood sample, they test, and then they do the third measurement. So these are the baseline. These are the normal values. So for the A1C, we're looking at any number below 5.7. For we 99, we 140. So anything above that now, we need to be cautious. Funny enough, most of us sitting here, including myself now, we are here. Most of us are here. Most people are here. This is it. And the reason, and then 3 out of 4 of those most people here, now they don't know. They don't know because they don't go for checkup. And they've never bothered. And they've never been sick. But pretty much, this is it. And if we don't take good care of it, we're going to move from here to that stage. So kind of it grows little by little. So we usually say that hypertension is a silent killer. Diabetes too could also be, because when it's progressing, it progresses slowly in that regards. And whenever you have, so how would I know if I have diabetes? So at times you feel numbness in the hands and in the feet. You feel like tinkling. You feel like pandemic air wall, right? Yeah, those things come in. Your vision, you become blurred. So if somebody is approaching you, let the person get so close to you. You know somebody is coming, but if the person get close to you, you wouldn't know. So these are some of the symptoms. So if you're having blurred vision, pretty much you're gonna have that. With time, we all know say blood flows through the arteries. And the more you continue to pack glucose in there now, you pretty much block it. and also can bring heart attack, stroke. And then back, there's one called a ketoacidosis. Excuse me for that word. That one is cases your insulin is supposed to convert the food into glucose. Either you don't have insulin or your insulin is not working properly, and the body needs glucose. So now the body will have to rely on the fat, because the body is designed. So in this place, you can convert the food, your carbohydrate into glucose. They can convert the fat. So by using the fat pathway now, you end up with certain elements called keto. So those ones comes into your blood, and that is what we call keto. So those ones are a bit acidic, and that one could be very, very deadly. So people with type 1 diabetes, they use those ketoacidosis in most cases to diagnose them. So pretty much I want us to look at 9 early signs. So if you end up kind of having a lot of frequent urination, what are agents of the brain? Because your body cannot make use of the glucose now. Glucose pull water. Yeah, so you pee a lot. By peeing a lot now, it means that you're gonna get thirsty. So those two no goes together. You pee a lot, you get thirsty a lot. And glucose, say energy. Until the body cannot get it out. You're always tired, you are always fatigued. When if you have a cut on any part of your body, it means that it's gonna take a long time. Okay, because the way coagulation, the way like the body cells protect the cut because of the excess glucose in your blood now, it's not gonna work. So it's gonna take a long time. So occasionally we see people that they've cut their toe, their leg, and all those things. It's just because of those excess. We've spoken about the tingling, the numbness. People too have dark skin around the neck, armpit, and then the groin area. And among the females too, they end up with a lot of yeast infection, a UTI, because of the sugar content in their system. So we're talking about the sugar, and we are talking about the sugar has to move. The food that we ate, it went through the system. It has to go into the cells, right? So the food we eat, some are carbohydrate, they give us energy. Some are protein, they help us prepare the cells and the body to work together. And some are fat, cells still need them. So all those things, they are important. But they need to get into the blood for the blood to take it away. So if the blood cannot take it, and they take it where they're supposed to be, then pretty much we are screwed up. We're not gonna get those nutrients, and we're gonna have to handle those waste. So as I said, this one just beneath the stomach. So that is the pancreas, okay? And then I wouldn't have to forget about those. So the pancreas produces 2 hormones. They have the insulin, and then the glucagon. So the essence of as I said earlier, is when the food gets into the system, the pancreas secretes the hormone called the insulin. So the insulin, insulin is just like a key to a door. If you don't have it, you can't get a glucose to go through. You cannot. And some of us too, we've also experienced cases too, where we've been using this key for the last 5-10 years. But one day we try to unlock it, we can't open the door with the same key. And that is what we call it insulin resistance. So either you're not producing enough insulin, no insulin, or the way the insulin is supposed to combine with the glucose so that I can transport it, that key mechanism is not working. So let's look at the insulin as a key. So with each meal consumed, the pancreas, they have a beta cells, so they produce the insulin. and then they are able to kind of bind with the glucose, and then they can move it. So the body, you move, you talk, anything you do, you need all those nutrients. So if you don't get those nutrients, you can't. So that pancreas that produces the insulin is very important. If that pancreas is sick, then we'll have problem getting insulin. If we have problem getting insulin, that means a lot of glucose is going to stay in our bloodstream, and that is also not good for us. Okay, so if the body is, if you are hungry, and then the body cannot make use of the glucose, guess what? The body can convert excess fat into glucose. By producing that, also produce a byproduct that would also cause some problems too for us. So so that insulin is quite crucial. Yeah, without it, we're gonna have a lot of problems. So that is why cases like in type 1 diabetes, because they can't produce it, we only have to give them insulin. They can't. Or they can minimal. So we have to give them insulin from the outside into the body. So some use needles, some use pens. Some people walk around with a pump hanging around them. Some people carry pump every day, insulin pump. So what it does, it look at the glucose level and then shoot the insulin into the body, kind of to regulate it. So luckily, some of us can walk around with that such. But if we don't take care of the body, guess what? We're gonna end up like that. Yeah. So as I said earlier, so when we eat, the stomach changes the food, the carbohydrate into glucose. So the glucose gets into the bloodstream, and then you need the insulin to come and combine so the insulin comes from the pancreas to come and combine. So if your insulin is working, then it's gonna be able to kind of move it. If it's not working, then your insulin gonna end up being built up in your system. Okay, so that is it. That is how it is. So as it goes around, it needs certain things to kind of move. Okay, you start with the saliva, with your food. You get into the tummy, your stomach. You have the digestive juices and the enzymes. That works on it. And then after it's broken it down, somebody has to transport it to the cells. It's the work of the insulin. So if anything goes wrong in the pathway, something kind of, then the body is going to be in serious trouble. So as I said, the main source of energy is glucose. So if you don't have it, you're always tired, right? You don't have the energy. You need energy to move around. You always feel fatigue. It also provides fuel for the brain. The brain works non-stop, even when you are asleep. It's still working. And it needs that energy from the glucose. So if your body cannot absorb the glucose into the cells to get to the brain, then you'll have other issues. And then when you get to a point when you have excess of it, God has designed the body in such a way that there are some organs too that can store the excess for you. Okay, so that if, let's say I ate in the morning and let's say I ate yesterday morning, I haven't eaten, and I haven't had any carbohydrate, I still have my fats, right? So the fat's gonna kick in, and I can get some energy through that. So there's also glucagon. So those ones, they can get stored in the muscles, and they could also get stored in the liver for future use. Okay, so I said that diabetes, we have 3 different types. So we have the type 1. Type 1 now is people that have issue producing insulin. They're the type 1. And because if they have issues, if you remember the pancreas, we talk about say pancreas and they produce insulin. So if there's anything wrong with the pancreas, it's gonna affect that. So most of from insulin dependent, and they depend on insulin to break. Without insulin, they can't do anything. So all the time, such people they always on way, and usually some of them they have to kind of inject themselves like three times a day. not with one. At times minimum 2 or 3. So they have kind of insulin that will work right away. And then they have one that works slowly. There's one that you inject in the night, it works throughout the night. So we have different kinds. So this is a mix. This is a 2 insulin that has a mix. There's a short one and then there's a medium acting. So they can combine them two for you as well. So people that are type 1, yeah, they can't produce their insulin, so we have to give them. Mostly, we're gonna get to see that usually it's among kids, people below ages of under 15. Between 4 and 7, 10 and 14, it's kind of rampant among this group. I think I have 2 clients, a boy and a girl, that are insulin dependent. So just imagine a child of that age. So they have insulin at home and then they take the insulin, some of them, to the school. So at that when we supply them 2 sets. One for home, one for school. But when you leave home, you get the first, you go to school, the next school nurse has to help you get another injection. So if you start at that young age, you're gonna have to go through all of that. So for you to get type 1, so that's the question. How did they get type 1? So if you have a family history, if your mom or dad, your grandparents, anybody has had a type 1, then you may. Family history. Then you may. The 2, I don't know my 2 clients, I know their moms, I don't know their dads, but their moms, none of them uses it. So I don't know whether that kind of generation or the previous generation, somebody had it, or the dad side. And then we all made up of different genes, right? Different DNAs, genes, those things, that's what makes up our system. The reason why I am short and handsome and Mr. Kumi is ugly is pretty much the gene. Yeah, so those gene variations too could also account for that. And we're always talking about the age. So usually among kids, as I said, under 15, you see the type 1. So type 1, they always need insulin. So they are insulin dependent. So let's look at the type 2. Okay, so type 2, they are not insulin dependent. Type 2, no. So we said type 1, they cannot produce the insulin from the pancreas. Type 2, they can produce some insulin or the insulin. But just as I said, like the key, supposed to combine, cannot combine properly. So you cannot unlock it to move it. So that is insulin resistant. It resists that combination. So when that happens, that means you're going to have a lot of sugar in your blood because the insulin cannot work properly with it. So they don't depend on insulin. Usually we give them pills to kind of increase that sensitivity so that combination could come. Cases too, if they cannot manage it, we can also give them insulin. So we do have some people that are type 2 that also use insulin, and then they use some medications too as well. Okay, so just as I said, those genetic family history also plays a role. And type 2 usually occurs among adults. It's been seen among people in their 40 and above. I not usually, I do go for walks. So I had a neighbor, and then he was complaining about, hey, nowadays you're going for a walk. I said, when we were young, we used to chase ladies, so by default we walk, right? But now we don't have that kind of desire. So now we have to, wake up. So if you are a young person, you just walk around. Yeah, you run. You're always active. Right? As we age and we get burdened with this life, right? We have to work, provide for the family. extended family for all of us here. Other things, we kind of get bored and work, home, work, home, work, home, then church once a year, work, home. So we don't, there's no physical activity, right? So if we are, and that is it. So we're looking at people that are overweight. Overweight, if somebody is obese, usually they use the weight and then the height. They measure them. I think back in, is it 23 BMI, 23 or 25? Yeah, and if you are above a certain BMI, we cannot diagnose that you're obese. So if you're obese, most likely, I'm not saying most likely, you have that tendency to have that type 2. Ethnicity. So diabetes is seen much more around blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. The least group is a white. Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. So that is kind of. If you have a history of heart disease, right, you also have to kind of be on the lookout for that. Physical inactivity. Among our youth, we watch TV, we sit down for video games. So when you have a youth in the house, always watching TV, video games, there's no activity. Pretty much, yeah. So if you are eating, you're not burning it, you're piling it up. So that child of yours or that child of mine might end up being that. Poor diet, I think we all know. We need to kind of eat a balanced diet. So that's the family history. Cases too. If you had a baby and you get diagnosed with diabetes, in there also that chance to, not a high chance, also a chance that you as a mother, unfortunately it's not the father's, it's the mother that may. High blood pressure. If your cholesterol high, it's also part of it. And as I said earlier, if you're on the borderline, the pre-diabetics, if you don't manage it, you don't walk, you're not active, you're gonna end up in the type 2. Let's look at the type, the gestational one. So when our ladies get pregnant, so with the weight and everything, there's less activity. They don't move around a lot, right? So they don't burn enough of it. So some of them kind of may end having it. Some of them could also be some genetic too as well. If your mom had it when they had you, had one of your siblings, could also have that one too. So it doesn't just end up with you having the baby. Once you're done with the baby, periodically they're gonna test you to make sure you're out of it. Most people, they get to normal, but some people, they kind of progress to the type 2 later in life. Okay, so it's not different from so if the lady is overweight, a family history, if already you even have type 2, that means that means likely you're gonna have that gestational diabetes too. So what can I do? The next slide. What can I do to reduce my risk? So we're talking about the prevention. So I said earlier that almost all of us here are on the border, pre-diabetes. One of the ways you could kind of get out of it is through physical activity. And then down the slide, we're gonna look at some of those. Over here, because of work schedule, gyms, and all those stuff, and many of us don't have time. But if we can commit 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, we could go somewhere. There is no point, doesn't make sense for me to work for 3 good years, save money, and then I'm sick, and then I end up in the emergency room. And then those savings I've worked for 3 years, that one day, all of it's is gone. It doesn't make any sense. As Christians, I think 3 John 1:2. God wants us to prosper, and that includes our health too. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Me working 3 years, save money, and then I get emergency. And then that 3 year savings, everything kind of gone. So in life, as we sit here, and then we plan about retirement, how we're gonna retire, our retirement portfolio, my 401k, and all those stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, 90% of your retirement plan should be on your health, 90%. All the big houses we built, the good cars we had, and all those things. What is the value when you stuck at home, sick? It brings us no joy. Yeah, it brings us no joy. So there's no value kind of working. So I know most of us, when you manage your blood pressure, I told you a story about my brother. He didn't manage his blood pressure. Cholesterol, fatty foods, smoking. When you smoke, you clog your arteries. We talk about obesity, maintain a healthy weight, balanced diet. You need to check your glucose. And every year, if we can, we have to visit the doctor. Even if you don't have insurance, you don't want to spend more than $500. Even if you don't have insurance, to see a doctor and possibly get some lab work done. Yeah, it's prevention. It saves you a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. You save all that money, then you're sick. Somebody is preparing your food. They're having a good part. Whatever they bring you, you can't eat it. Yeah, there is no joy in working hard and not being able to kind of enjoy the fruit of your labor. So it's not about today. It's just about the long term. We've already looked at the treatment for the type 1 already. We said they usually use insulin. So these are insulin pens. Some of them are short-acting, some are medium. So some of them you inject within 15 minutes, start working. But after 1 hour, it's done. So that's short-acting. You start quick, you stop quick. Some of them medium, like 30 minutes, 1 hour, you start working. They could stay there 3-4 hours. And then we have the long-acting, probably 12 hours. So we have different kinds. So some of my students who are on diabetes, so they usually have at least 2. They have the long-acting that they inject at night, and then they have one that they inject about 3 times a day. Yeah, and it's not fun. It's needle, just injecting yourself every day. It's not fun. But you moving from that pre-diabetes to a diabetic patient, it doesn't take long. It doesn't. It does not. So that is how we kind of manage people with the type 1 diabetes. For people with type 2, as I said, some of our youth, they watch TV, video games, pretty much they sit at one place. Over here, we need to be active, and being active, as I said, we only need about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So you can have 2 days not to do anything. And when you walk, I'm not asking you to go to the gym, do all those and kind of stuff, just walking. When you walk, you're not just kind of getting your sugar under control, your blood pressure too, you're also getting it. Some of us, the work that we do, it could be stressful, but you just walking alone, it takes a whole lot of stress. The hormones to kind of, it helps with the hormones and everything. So being active or walking goes a long way. So we're talking about diet. So if I'm done eating this food, there's no way I have to kind of sit at one place. Yeah, I don't. Probably 15 minutes walk. Even if you don't walk right away, you just have to keep in mind that you need to walk. Eating late also. When you eat late, there's no way you're gonna go and walk because you're already gone to work. You're back, you're tired. And some of us, if we don't eat our fufu, we haven't eaten the whole day. So we're going to end up with a fufu, and then we can't go anywhere. We end up in bed. So when that happens, we have a lot of glucose in the system. Even if you're able to go for a few minutes walk, that can even kick it into motion. So diet, physical activity, weight loss, and then we do have medications. Nowadays, new injections are coming out to help people kind of manage their body weight. So type 2, if you don't, as I said, they don't depend on insulin. We can regulate them with pills. But if you don't, it can progress to the point where we have to add insulin to it. So the choice is always ours. Not even a short term, but no, once we retire, 65, 70 and kind of stuff. There's no point. You work so much. It's a lot of money. And if the American government is paying you Social Security every month, you also want to kind of enjoy the fruit of your labor. So it is in our interest to make sure that we don't let that type 2 progresses to the point that we're going to start using insulin. Even if it progresses and you even start, you can even come out of the insulin by you what? Being active. I think much of our lifestyle now is we react, we wait for the whole thing to happen. And then the doctor says, oh, this is it. Oh, this is your artery. I think 3, 5, probably 6 months you're gonna die. And then you ask the doctor, what can I do? So you need to walk. How long? 30 minutes, and now all of a sudden you're doing 2 hours. But at this point, you are faced with death, and you don't want to kind of get into that state. Okay, and then we had a gestational one, the one that comes with pregnancy. So it depends. Cases to people, if you are obese, you have a family history, and the sugar is too high, we may not be able to control it with the pills. We may have to give you some insulin too. So when our ladies are pregnant, we as the men, we also have a dual responsibility. Working with your pregnant wife, I call it a prestige. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you want to have a healthy baby, right? Yeah, it is. And working with her, pretty much you kind of carry part of her load too. Kind of you also share in that. It's good for her mind, and you end up having a healthy baby. So those of us still in the production business, it's something I want to kind of share with you. And then when it comes to delivery, if somebody you work with your wife during pregnancy, they usually have good delivery. Okay, so as I said earlier, so now I have a patient who prick their finger 4 times a day, 4 to 6. 4 to 6 times a day. So you could just imagine how bad. So they do it before they eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then they have snacks in between. They do 4 to 6. So if you have more snacks in between, then you're gonna do more. Now, so this is the machine that we use to. We put the blood on the test strips, and then we put it in the machine, and it tells us what it is. So the newer ones that we have now, so these are the glucose monitors. The newer ones we have now, these are the continuous glucose, the CGM. These are the newer ones. So this one, it comes in 3 sensors. So every 10 days, you just put one on your skin. So there's a needle that goes in. So it's able to read the blood sugar from it. This one, every 15 days, you can change it. And nowadays we have smartphone. You just use your phone, you just scan it, it gives you the reading. So it kind of gives you an idea. So on the go, you can check. So it's critical, especially when you get diagnosed with it. If you haven't been diagnosed yet, that means that I think every doctor's office you go, they take the blood pressure, they take your sugar, they take your blood pressure. If you we're there 2024, you go 2025, then they can look at the numbers from last year, look at the number of this and see if there's any progression, right? Yeah, and then they can tell you, oh, last time you came, you were 98. This time you're 120. So kind of give you an idea where you are. So if you keep skipping, then you wouldn't get a history. Yeah, and there is no point working, saving money for 3 years and losing that money in one day. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so that is the walking. Yeah, that is the walking. When you walk, your blood glucose goes down. When you walk, your insulin sensitivity, the way it reacts with the glucose, also goes down. Because at the end of the day, you want the insulin to combine with the glucose. So these are benefits of walking. Your heart health also improves. Your metabolism, when you eat full, you walk, the food breaks down kind of faster. But that too, the more you walk, you lose weight. If you are heavy, then you're also likely to fall. You won't have a good balance. You have a very good weight, then you're gonna be able to have a good balance. Your blood pressure goes down. Your HDL is a good cholesterol, so you want more of a good. So that one goes up. The bad ones, they go down. And anybody that is out there, when we were in the Bible class, there was a question from Brother Francis. Yeah, if somebody kind of make you angry, if you're out there walking in the woods, your mind is kind of more open to nature. You don't become that much so stressful. If you sit at one place, you get consumed with thought. So your mood is better. You feel more focused and alert. And then your memory too goes. Because by walking too, you're able to breathe in air. Air combines with the oxygen combines with the blood. It goes to the brain. Because the brain needs oxygen to work. So when you're out there walking, these are the benefits. It is. Yeah. I'm not going to ask anybody, I'm not going to ask any of us to try the gym. The gym is for the honorable soldier man. Yeah, he does that. But for most of us, we can walk. And we don't have to walk every day. 5 days a week should do. Yeah, so the more we walk, the more we get our blood glucose down. Okay, so let's look at some numbers. Okay. In the US, we're looking at about 12%, Maryland about 11%. PG County is higher than the state, is higher than the nation. Yep, because about I think about 70% of the population here are blacks. About 70. So that should. Yeah, I should have looked at other states where there are more whites, kind of also look at just so that we can compare. Yeah, so it is. So already because of our race as blacks, as Hispanics, as Native Americans, we kind of already have issues already with our race. So we don't need to kind of combine. Okay, I think we should be, yep. So there was this story about this man. Yeah, he works 12 hours every day, 5 days a week, not 7 days, 5 days a week. Yep, yeah, 0 time for their health, 0. Yeah, 0. So one hospital bill is gonna wipe out 3 years of your savings. One hospital bill is gonna. This is America, and here is a serious business. When you go to the hospital, any person that touches you, the person gonna bill you. Everybody that touches you, everybody gonna bill you. Before even the supplies of medication. The nurse gonna bill you. You're gonna bill for the nurse. They're gonna bill you for the product cleaning up. They're gonna bill you for the room and board. The doctor that comes in, they're gonna bill you. And if the doctor has to bring a consultant, they're gonna bill you. So everything that you kind of work out, you saved for, is just gonna be wiped out. Do you wanna lose the 3 years and leave, or you wanna die and leave the money? So that's a choice. Yeah. So when we talk about investing in our health, the Bible, 3 John 1:2. Yeah, God wants us to be healthy, and it's part of our spirit, linked to our spiritual journey too. So just imagine, if you are sick all the time, you can't come to church. I'm not saying you cannot be of value to others, but you can't do much for yourself, you can't do much for other people. So the Bible also requires us to stay healthy in that regards. So pretty much that is all. That's all I want to talk to. I want to share with you. Even as I talk to you, I also talk to myself. Right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense for me to work hard, save money. No sense. It makes no sense. It doesn't. Save money. Anything that we desire, we want to. We need to put more. Yeah, we need to put more. There's no point. You have all those big houses and all those stuff, and then you're not healthy. You can't enjoy it. Better to be healthy and have nothing. If you're healthy, you have nothing, you could add value to others. If you have everything that this world provides, and you're not healthy, you become a liability. So next week, I think we're going to touch on the hypertension. And then I think the following week, we're going to have a panel discussion. So we're going to save all the questions we have. If for any reason somebody needs interpretation to whatever we discuss, let me know. I'm not fluent in Twi or Ga, but I can rearrange whatever I can share with you. And then these slides are available if you also want to have a copy too. So on that note, I want to thank the leadership of the church for the opportunity to come and share this with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yo, Dr. Addico, that's it.